Honors Algebra 2 Pre-Calculus. We're doing section 10.3 in Pre-Calc, which is ellipses. In example 4, we're asked to find the equation in standard form of an ellipse with foci at 0, 0, and 4, 0, and major axis length 8. Okay, so this right away might feel like you don't know a lot of information, but actually you do, right? So first thing we know, you don't have to plot a great graph of this. They don't ask you to graph, but it's helpful to get a visual, right? So first thing you know is that you have one focus at 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the other one at 4, 0. So that tells me some stuff, okay? So what this tells me, number one, the major axis is horizontal, right? So the major axis is horizontal because remember, the foci live on the major axis, so x, right? Second piece of information it tells me is that the center is midway between these, so it must be 2, 0, right? Because just by looking at these, I know that the foci are on either side of the center must be 2, 0, right? So right away, I can put these two pieces of information together and I get a couple things, okay? I know that from this information, I should have an x minus 2 quantity squared on top of a squared plus y minus 0 squared on top of b squared equals 1, right? So my job is just to find a and b, right? If I can just find a and b, I know the x is on top of the major axis because it's a horizontal major axis. Well, they actually gave me the major axis length already. So the major axis length is 8. So that means that 2a is an 8, right? Because what they're saying is you'd go 1, 2, 3, 4 units this way to get to the vertex, and 1, 2, 3, 4 units this way to get to the vertex, right? Because that would give you a major axis length of 8. So that means that a is 4. So I now can say, oh, hey, this is a 4 squared. This is 16, right? So then the last thing I need to find is I need to be able to find b, right? Well, we know that a squared minus b squared gives me c squared, right? Well, we know that c is the length from the center to the focus, right? So it seems to me that c is a 2. So 16, sometimes my brain does stupid things, minus b squared has to be a 2 squared, which is a 4, right? So I'm going to switch the b squared and the 4, so I'm going to get 16 minus 4 equals b squared, right? So b squared is a 12. Now, it does mean that b is a root 12, but we don't really care about that because if you notice in the equation, they just want a b squared. So my answer ends up being x minus 2, quantity squared, over 16, plus, I can just go ahead and say y squared if I want, over 12 because it's y minus 0, or you can leave it as y minus 0 quantity squared. It doesn't matter. But that's the equation of my ellipse in standard form. And again, you weren't asked to graph, but it's much easier to take the 2 seconds to visually plot these points so that you make sure that you don't do them incorrectly.